going to take a look at how we take data that is in a single cell or column in Excel and how we split it out into multiple columns so that it can be used better for mail merges or for importing into CRM systems or software and things like that. So a couple of common issues that we face with data when it comes to us in a spreadsheet format is that we've got things like we've got here a name that is just first name and last name in one column, or we might have address all in one cell. Now the issue with this is that if we want to use this for a mail merge, we might want just the first name and we don't really want the last name in there. So we need them in separate columns in order to be able to merge them, whether that's in something like MailChimp or a CRM system or in a traditional mail merge for printed letters. And for the same reason, we might need our addresses split out into address line 1, 2, 3 and 4 so that we can import them into other pieces of software. There's a simple way of doing this, and we use a tool in Excel called text to columns. So I'm going to show you how to do that. We're going to start with the name. So you can see here we've got a column with our first name and last name all in one cell. And we're going to split that out into these columns here, first name and last name. Now I'm showing you how to do this using Excel on a Mac. However, exactly the same tool is available in Microsoft Excel and also in Google Sheets. So I'm going to show you where to find the option to do that in this version, in this platform that I'm using right now, but I'll then afterwards show you how to find the same option in Google Sheets and in Microsoft Excel. So first of all, what we do is we highlight the data that we want to split. In this case, this is our name column. We're then going to go up to the main menu, we click on data, and we then go across to the group here and we click on text to columns. So you'll see what this does is shows us a preview of the data we've selected. It then asks us how we want to split our data, and we want to split it by a delimiter. So we click the delimited option and we click next. Here you then have got a few standard options, so you can choose to split your data based on if there's a comma in the cell or a space or any other character that you might have in the cell. And in this case, we're going to split it by a space. And you can see when I tick that option, straight away it shows us a preview of the data and how it's going to split it, which is exactly what we want. We tick this option to treat consecutive delimiters as one. That means if you've got a double space or an extra full stop or something, it will treat them, if they're two the same, it will treat them as one and it won't break them out into extra columns. I'm going to click next. And then you can choose how you want to format the data. So normally you'd leave it on general. If it is a date or text or something like that, you can choose to set the format. And we're then going to pick a destination column. So this is where you want your data to start being split out. So generally you want to put it at the end where you've got lots of free columns. So all I'm going to do here is I'm going to go and click on the first column where I want our data to be added to, which in this case is column C. You can see where I've put the first name column. So once we've done that, we'll then go ahead and click finish. And you can see there we have it, all of our data split out according to any spaces that are in that column. And that's all that we need to do. Once we've got our data split out like that, you can easily go and delete this first column. We don't need that anymore, and you can see you've got first name and last name here. Now, the next thing we want to do is to split our addresses into address line 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So to do that, first of all, we need to find something to split the data by. And the way we do that is we're going to replace the line breaks that are in these address cells, and we're going to replace them with a comma. You can replace them with any character you want, to be honest, but I just find a comma is as good as any. And it's not usually present in an address field that's set out this way. So what we're going to do is we're going to use the substitute formula. So to do that, we're going to type a little formula in a column here, and we're going to call this address columns. So we're going to just highlight the top row of where we want to substitute our line breaks for commas, and we're going to type the following formula. So we want a little equals, substitute, open brackets, and then we're going to choose the cell that we want to substitute the characters for. We then put a comma, and we're going to choose the character that we're looking for, which in this case is a line break, and that's depicted by the following character 10. So it's CHAR, open brackets, number 10, which tells Excel to look for character number 10, which is a line break. We then add another comma, and then we tell it what we want to substitute that for, and that's going to be a comma. So because the comma is a text value, we put it between two quote marks. So open quotes, comma, closed quotes, and then we're just going to put our closing bracket, hit return. The formula will execute, and there you can see it. We've got our address from over here with every line break replaced by a comma. So we're just going to highlight that top one, drag that down to copy it to the other cells, and that's all we need to do. The final bit we need to do then is we're going to overwrite our formulas so that this data is added as a text value. And to do that, all I'm going to do is highlight the whole column. I'm going to Control and C to copy, leave the cursor where it is, Control and V to paste, overwriting the data that we've got there, and then we're going to have this little drop down here, paste options, and we're going to paste as values only. What that does is you'll see it's overwritten our formula with the actual text values. So we've now got the data ready for us to use the text to columns tool to split out our data. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create some columns to put our addresses into. So we'll just call it address 1, and then we'll have address 2, 3, and 4. There we go. So we're going to follow exactly the same process again now. We'll put our we'll highlight all of our data that we want to split into columns. We then go up to data, text to columns, and that'll open up our little wizard. Again, it's delimited, and we're going to click next. This time we don't want to delimit it by space, we actually want to use comma. And you'll see the preview there. Everywhere that we've added a comma, which was a line break, it's now going to drop it into a separate column. Because of the way we've done this, we don't need to tick this option because we know there aren't any consecutive commas anywhere. But if there were, if you knew that there were, you could tick that option. And we're going to click next. So then it's going to ask us what's the destination field. Do we want to put it into D2 and overwrite what we've got there? Or do we want to add it somewhere else? I tend not to overwrite the data just in case anything goes wrong. You can always delete it afterwards. So I'm actually going to put this into column E. Once we've done that, we click finish, and there we have it. There's our addresses split out by column. And that's all you need to do. Now, once you've got these and you're happy with them, you can go ahead and just highlight and delete that source data. Click delete, and we can probably delete this one as well. Now we've done what we needed to do. And there we have it. Here's our completed formatted data with first name and last name in different columns, and the addresses split out by line, ready to import into wherever we need to go, or to use in a mail merge, or whatever else you need to do. So that's all there is to it in terms of text to columns. I'm going to show you now, if you want to do this in Google Sheets or in the Microsoft version of Excel, I'll show you where to find this text to columns option. If you are trying to use text to columns in Google Sheets, the process is exactly the same. So we go from the main menu to, well, first of all, we highlight our data. And then we go to data and split text to columns. You'll see then what you get is an option here to choose your separator. So if you're using one of the standard ones, such as a comma or a space, rather than the tick boxes in the Excel version, you can just choose it. Or if you click custom, you can type in your custom separator there. Once you've typed that in, it'll separate your columns automatically. And finally, if you are using the Microsoft version of Excel, let's just open this one up here. Again, exactly the same. We highlight our data first, and then we go to the main menu, click on data, and underneath Data Tools we've got the Text to Columns option, and that will open up a very similar looking wizard to the one that we've already shown you. Once again, the steps are exactly the same, so you just follow the wizard, choose your delimiter, click Next and then Finish. And that's all you should need to do.